Preparing your website for a multilingual search engine submission campaign takes much more than just translating a page and its meta tags. Creating and optimizing a web page for foreign search engines is a process that goes way beyond mere translating. For example, French and German-speaking search engines have a different keyword allowance. When it comes to Asian search engines, we no longer consider keyword allowance, but rather the number of characters allowed. Each language has specific technical ramifications that require attention to its own language algorithm. This is why we work with native-speaking search engine experts who are attuned to the requirements in their language. For each language, we have native technicians whose job is to stay updated on the latest rules and regulations proper to the search engines in their mother tongue. They work in close collaboration with our translators and copywriters. Once again, just being bilingual is not sufficient. Preparing for the multilingual web goes way beyond an ordinary translation. We can guarantee that the foreign language pages we create for your website will be culturally and technically correct. Currently, Internet users searching on German, French, Hispanic, Portuguese, Italian, Japanese, or Chinese search engines probably cannot find your website because it has not been optimized or listed accordingly. Many website managers report that their site shows up abroad. When looking at traffic reports, they note that they are receiving visits from China, Germany, Africa, and so on. Here is what they should know. The foreign visits that they currently experience are from astute foreign users who have accessed English language search engines and conducted their search in English. These users are in a small minority. It is commonly understood that they are less than 1% of the foreign web users. Think about the fact that over 99% of all searches abroad are conducted in the native language of the user. This is of course only normal. Additionally, when we refer to submission on French search engines, we do not refer to submission on search engines in France only. We are referring to a submission campaign of your website in all French-speaking markets. We will submit to markets from Belgium to Switzerland and from Quebec to Tahiti, without forgetting Africa. Submission on French search engines refers to all French-speaking markets. Of course, when we say Japanese search engines, only Japan is concerned. But you will notice that we never say Spanish search engines, but rather Hispanic search engines. There are great search engines in Spanish, not only in Spain, but also in South and Central America, in Mexico, and in the U.S., just to list a few. Do you realize that about 35% of all visits on Chinese search engines emanate from the large communities of Chinese immigrants in the U.S., in Canada, and in Europe? Did you know that the Hispanic population in the U.S. represents one of the most lucrative Spanish-speaking online markets? In order to put that into perspective, you must realize that in the U.S. today, nearly 1 out of every 9 persons are of Hispanic heritage. More than just targeting countries, we give your website exposure to global language market shares on the Internet. Your customer may be a Chinese man in San Francisco, a German immigrant in Toronto, a Cuban in Florida, or a Japanese expatriate in Paris. We truly look at languages on a global scale. When it comes to Internet marketing, promoting your site on the foreign web is similar to going back in time. Don't you wish you could go back to 1995 with your current knowledge of the web? Well, the keyword density on the foreign web is similar to what things were like on the U.S. web 10 years ago. It is not nearly as competitive. There are still success stories to be written. Don't wait until it's too late to land top rankings. Don't wait until the keyword densities of multilingual search engines catches up with those on the U.S. web.